On the first Sunday of Advent, the New Testament readings from our liturgical lectionary do not direct our attention toward the joys of the first Christmas. No anticipation of the sweet infant mild, a beautiful young mother, angelic choirs, or a star-filled winter sky. Silent night is absent from this scene. Instead, First Sunday in Advent slaps us with the uncertainty of violence of human history, sign of dread, floods, earthquakes, and distress among nations that cause people to faint with fear. Those awaiting Luke's lovely story of Jesus' birth will be disappointed. This is less Luke and more like the apocalypse. For many of us raised with Christian apocalyptic books like the late great Planet Earth or the Left Behind series, images of the world's end are worrisome. Progressive Christians shy away from preaching from texts like these. Over the last 30 years, we've seen end times fears manipulated into the powerful political movement of a Christian American right, complete with its careless disregard for the planet, the poor, and peace. Those of us more attracted to the Jesus' teaching in the Beatitudes or his prophetic politics may find Luke's end times vision a little hard to take. We've had too much experience with a callous form of faith that does not seek to redeem the world and only wishes to escape it. Before what we know as end times Christianity, however, 19th century liberal Protestants believed that Advent was the most appropriate part of the liturgical year to consider the signs of the times, to consider what it meant to await the end. They appreciated the poetic interplay of the first coming of Jesus with the anticipation of the second coming of Christ. Were these two distinct events separated in time? What exactly is an end? How is Christmas, the most beloved of Christian holy days, related to the wild depictions of cosmic desolation? The quiet coming of the gentle Lamb Jesus and the mighty roar of Christ the Lion. The book of Revelation even conflates the two. See the Lion of the tribe of Judah? Then I saw a lamb. Part of the problem with end times theology is that Western people see time as a straight line, a non-linear event. We think in terms of beginning, middle, and end. Thus, to consider the end times is to anticipate the end of the world as we know it, such as a universal devastation on the scale of the Mayan calendar ending in 2012 when history was supposed to cease to be. But the biblical texts of Advent point in another, more mysterious direction. That time is not a line. Rather, time is held in the being of God. Indeed, time is timeless. Think about it for just a moment. What do the divisions past, present, and future really mean? When does the present slip to the past? When does the future arrive? When is the now of the present? Isn't time much more of a wonder, a spiritual or philosophical question than a straight line? If we enter the Advent journey with a different perspective on time, the apocalyptic texts speak afresh. Indeed, the words of the liturgical prayer weekly reminds us of the mystery of God's redemptive time. Jesus has come. Jesus comes. Jesus will come. This is the dance of time, grace-filled steps that enact God's vision that the end times are all times, that all times are the end times. In this spirit of times enfolded in time, we walk through Advent. Jesus has been born, but we act as if we are still waiting. Christ will return, yet Christ has already come. What words better describe our world than those of Luke? People will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world. I spoke about fear last week. These are not words of some far-off moment in time. They are words now. Our cities, our churches are full of people who are afraid of loss of their jobs, of income, of health care, of decency, of safety, of change, of pluralism, of. The list of fears is nearly endless. Yet, be honest, has there ever really been a time in human history when we've not been filled with such fears? Luke's words are also the words of all of yesterday's. We may imagine that the past was better, safer, cleaner, or more stable, but we know that is really not the case. We are a fragile lot, we humans, and our history is roiled with fear and the stupid things that we humans do when we are afraid. And sadly enough, they are probably the words of many of humanity's tomorrows. Apocalyptic theology does not predict escape. Rather, it provides a profoundly realistic view of history, a view that should plunge us more deeply into the shalom, the peace of God in the world. Jesus says, when you see things, do not cower in fear, for your redemption is drawing near. Advent teaches us that in the darkest places of human oppression, the pain of hunger and political distress, that God's reign is right here, beside us, among us. Advent is a season of hope. It is a time that reminds us, in God's scheme of things, the laws of predictability do not necessarily apply, and the universe will not continue to get darker and colder forever. Our spiritual winter will come to an end. The fig tree and the dogwood as well will again blossom and bloom. Summer is near, our Lord assures us, even at the beginning of Advent. Our redemption is drawing near. Perhaps only a follower of Christ can remain vigilant and on guard for the coming of God's kingdom in a world such as ours. Perhaps, just perhaps, only a genuine follower of Christ, mindful of the incarnation, can hear of a spiritual summer of redemption and understand that no matter the human or earthly season, Christ's word and promise to his people will not pass away, but will remain